is Rosemary Alwatch Ogwal, and I am the first-born daughter of Mr. Lamek Ogwal and the late Cecilia Imat Cecilia Atim Ogwal. And I'm here today to hear the press conference of the Electoral Commission, who will be conducting works, and they have told us about what they would like to do to get things done here on time. I think the key issue for me is to make sure that there's transparency throughout this process. And one of those includes making sure that people can register to vote. Those who have turned 18 in recent years, since 2021, or even today, or between now and Thursday, should be able to have voted from, or to have been able to register from 9 o'clock this morning. Unfortunately, the system wasn't ready at 9 o'clock this morning, so I hope the Electoral Commission will give people a little more time to register, probably push it to Friday for those who missed the 9 a.m. cutoff. That is my key comment for today. But if there are any questions, I'll be willing to answer them.
Yeah, like he asked me very much.
Well, I left the country to study in the UK, which is where I have been living for many years. I did an undergraduate degree in law, and I did a master's and PhD in economics. And I have been living and working there, and I moved back here because, unfortunately, as you know, I lost my mother, and I have come back in the hopes to continue her legacy. My mother did a lot of work in Doholo. And one of the strange things is that people don't realize, or some people don't realize, there's more than one Doholo in Uganda. But most people, when you say Doholo, people think of Doholo in Lao. And that's how hard my late mother, Imat Cecilia Atim Ogwal, worked to make that possible. It is a big legacy, and I believe that somebody who knew her vision, who knew her policies, is best equipped to be able to deliver at, especially the rehabilitation projects and the inward investment that she was focused on for Doholo.
What are some of these pertinent issues that you feel when you get there you really want to address?
I think the key issue I began to address from Saturday. Many of our PLE students actually passed exams. I had about 180 of them, almost 200, that I met with on Saturday. And I was able to give them money towards their school fees, and I was also able to give them mattresses towards their requirements. Students these days, especially from low-income households, have a huge threshold to be able to get to S1. So my mother, for the past 19 years, was able to provide them with this service, and I felt it was only right. When they sat exams, they hoped my late mother would provide this service. My mother is not here now, so I took over that role, and I gave them the money contribution towards school fees and mattresses as well. But I didn't only accommodate the students of Doholo, I also accommodated students from around Lao. So those who got grade 1 around Lao, they also benefited from this bursary. I would also like to put it on the record that those who did not hear the radio announcements and come for these bursaries, your mattresses and school fees are still with me. So please reach out to me, and we'll see how we can get you your bursary and get you your mattress. Or if you don't wish to claim it, let me know so somebody else can benefit from the bursary and the mattress requirement. Another thing that my mother was thinking about but wasn't able to implement was the issue of the students who failed. This is something that we really wish to do. We want to work with government to improve the performance of students going to government schools. Students who qualify or who go there should be able to have minimum academic qualifications that set them off for later life. That's not happening right now, whereas their education is a human right. So in order to address this possible human right breach, I want to work with government to improve the level of services we give to students who fail. We want them to do well in Doholo, around Lao, and throughout Lao as well. So throughout the Uganda as well. I beg your pardon.
Maybe you tell us about your party affiliation.
I will announce that as soon as I have been officially unveiled as a candidate. So that is still ongoing, but it will be very soon. I believe it was only on Monday when I said, please watch this space. It won't be very long now. I think by the end of the week, you should have an update by then.
A quick question on the bursary.
That's right, okay.
Are you going to carry on? Is this something you're going to carry on whether you're in parliament or not?
Well, as I have said to the people of Doholo, in our vernacular, I have said, you know, you cannot work unless you have the mantle of office. So I did this because I felt an obligation. If my mom was here, she would have paid those bursaries. But she's not here now, and those students shouldn't have to suffer because she's not here. So I have taken on that role, but it is only right that the MP for the district takes on that work.
Ms. Rosemary, will the 7 days issued be enough ahead of this election? Will the 7 days issued by the Electoral Commission be enough?
Campaign. Yes.
Well, the thing about the Electoral Commission, and I believe they were very clear in there were some candidates that felt it was unfair. I don't think it's an issue of fairness at all. I think it's an issue of legality. What the Commission is doing is abiding by the law and the Ugandan Constitution. If you want to be an MP in this wonderful country, you must abide by the Ugandan Constitution. You must abide by the law. You cannot say, oh, it's unfair. No, you cannot. It is about the law of this country.
Yeah, Hemat, I want you to be clear on two things. One, about not entitled to voting or be voted.
That is not so. I can confirm to you that I am a Ugandan citizen, and yes, I will be eligible to vote in Doholo, which is why I would be eligible not only to vote but also to be a candidate. With regard to FDC, as all of you know, my mother stood as a member of parliament under FDC, and but even though she was a member of FDC, she worked with every political party. Why did she do so? She did so for the betterment of Doholo, she did so for the betterment of Lao, she did so for the betterment of Uganda, and she contributed towards the work of this continent and throughout the globe. She did that from within her post in Doholo.
Yeah, one would also wish to know, you have been in the UK for so long.
Correct.
What were you doing?
What was I doing? I think towards the last couple of years, I've not only worked in public sector, which is local government, but I've also worked within central government, which is to do with the delivery of government policy and implementation of that.
So about this kind of sector.
Well, the truth of the matter is, think about how the Imat Cecilia Atimogwal was. She was a patriot, first and foremost. Right? She did not believe in any kind of division. With regard to who I am, my name Rosemary is from my mother, for my mother's mother, who was right here in Doholo and who is buried in Doholo. I am a person of Doholo by blood. Both my grandparents are buried right here in Doholo. So I do not believe in division, whether or not you are a blood relative or a blood person of Doholo. More importantly, I have a house in Doholo and I am resident in Adok. So again, how can you tell somebody who is a blood person of Doholo, who is resident in Adok, that they don't belong to Doholo? I believe that those kinds of division, show that that person may not be a patriot at the end of the day. This should be about living those kind of division apart, whether it's a party affiliation, whether it's religious affiliation. We should just be concentrating on doing good for the people of Doholo, doing good for the people of Lao, doing good for the people of Uganda, East Africa, Africa and the world.
Lastly, what is your message to the people of Doholo? Very brief.
The main message to the people of Doholo, because some of them have said, we haven't seen Imat Rosemary. What I'll say to them is, if you have seen the late Atat Cecilia, then you have seen me. There is a very distinct resemblance there. And also, if you heard Imat Cecilia, then you would have seen me too. Those of you who saw Imat Cecilia dancing with students, you saw me doing the exact same thing on Saturday. So I believe that you knew what Imat Cecilia stood for. I am her daughter, her likeness, her voice, and I will be continuing that work if you give me the mantle of office. You know, that's all I can say on that subject. Any further questions? Asked about why it is that I'm in crutches. I am in crutches because I had an accident, and in that incident, unfortunately, it was to do with fighting for injustice, against discrimination, against people of color. And it is because of that I believed in speaking up for injustice and also fighting for injustice. So I don't just fight, I don't just speak and talk tough. I am also able to get physical, to get justice for the people who deserve it. So people of Doholo should know that the person who is going to be there for them is going to talk tough, is going to work with people, and will be willing to get down and fight for them. So, Finally, are you willing to work with